The idea of one of the strongest mantras for humans on earth, one of the strongest tools, is as you wake up in the morning and as you go to sleep at night, to say, perhaps at least 3 times, I am who I am, and that is enough. I am who I am, and that is enough. I am who I am, and that is enough. And then see what synchronicity brings you with the willingness to let go of all restrictions, all limitations, all assumptions and all insistences that in your unconscious, subconscious, and conscious mind don't actually serve you or don't align with the vibration of your true ethereal spiritual core. Then reality will unfold as it needs to serve you best.
The 2-word sacred mantra. Repeat after me. So what? Very powerful. 2-word sacred mantra. So in other words, should you decide to move forward and should what you fear will happen, so what? Pick yourself up, keep moving. It cannot actually ultimately destroy you. It will only make you stronger. Because you will have discovered more of yourself. Even if the modality, remember what we said? Even if the modality is extremely scary, even if the scenario is extremely frightening, invite yourself to go through it because you will go through it.
My fear is it's too big. That's
nonsense.
That's the fear. That's what I'm holding on to. You asked what my fear was?
Yes, but it's nonsense. Because it cannot, by definition, be bigger than you are.
I totally agree.
Well, there you go.
And the mantra is this: circumstances don't matter. Only state of being matters. And again, listen to the way that this synchronistically translates in your English language. Circumstances don't matter. They do not create materialization. Only state of being matters. Only state of being materializes experience. So, the mantra is, anytime you find yourself doubting, stuck, fearful, because of what you believe the situation is, what you believe the circumstances are, you can, if you wish, use this little reminder. Circumstances don't matter. Only state of being matters. And then choose the state of being you prefer. And then redefine the circumstances from that state of being, so that you can erase the echo and allow the true reflection to then take form from your state of being.
Each and every statement invokes a particular and very specific frequency and state of being. All of them together will combine to create a master frequency, that bubble reality in your energy field that will allow you to develop, the more you do it, this sense, this innate sense of inner peace, and allow it to become not your second nature, but your first nature, knowing yourself more clearly.
Repeat. I am who I am for a reason.
You are unique. If you exist, then all that is needs you to exist, for without you, it would not be all that is. So allow the first statement to be an honoring of your existence, your uniqueness. You are who you are for a reason. Your mission, your purpose in life, no matter how you may choose to express the mission, no matter how you may choose to express the purpose, is fundamentally to be yourself, your unique self as fully as you can, which is why it is so important to act on your passion, since that energy is representative and your physical translation of your core frequency, your true self. So this first 5 minutes of the meditation, and you may simply
repeat the phrase if you wish, silently or out loud. It's, again, up to you, but it is for the purpose of honoring your existence and the fact that you are worthy of that existence, the fact that you belong in existence, or you wouldn't exist, because creation doesn't make mistakes. The second statement.
Repeat. No insistence, no resistance.
Insistence in your life on a particular thing that must happen or something will go wrong is actually a form of resisting what could be there much better than you even imagined. So allow the resistance in your life to melt away. Allow synchronicity to bring you what you truly need, and relax the idea of the negative ego's insistence on what it wants, so that you can truly receive what you actually need that will benefit you best in your life. No insistence, then there will be no resistance. Let yourself flow, because every one of you has your own current in the river of creation. The current already knows where you need to go. Let yourself go with the flow. Resistance will have you swimming upstream against the current, and it will create difficulty and struggle and pain in your life. So relax, go with the flow. You will wind up exactly where you need to be, exactly when you need to be there. Perfect timing. The next statement.
Repeat. I am an indestructible being at my core.
I am an indestructible being at my core. The fact that you exist cannot be changed. You can change the form of your existence, the expression of your existence, the experience of your existence, but the fact that you exist is fundamental. You cannot change that. You are an indestructible, eternal being. That will never change. So feel that indestructibility in your core. And next.
The past and the future are illusions. There is only now.
Now is all there is. When someone asks you for the time, you don't say, it is then. You don't say, it is when. You don't say, it is will be. You say, it is now. For that is all that exists. And everything that exists, exists now. You have created the illusion of time to help you experience process in a certain way, and that is all well and good and is very creative. But the idea is that the so-called past and the so-called future are simply alternate nows existing simultaneously with whatever now you believe you are experiencing at this moment. When you shift, you are not shifting into the future, you are not shifting from the past, you are shifting into an alternate now, because that's the way you experience things from a linear perspective. But everything exists all at once. They are all here, they are all now, they are all within your consciousness. You are here and now. And next.
Everything happens in perfect timing. I will miss nothing.
Everything that needs to happen in your life, if you focus on what you need, will come to you exactly when you need it. It is not possible for you to miss any agreements, any appointments that you have made that are relevant for you to experience in your life, with one exception. Focusing and worrying that you will miss the appointment, worrying that you will miss the agreement, will allow you to miss it. But if you do not worry that you will miss something important, something relevant for you, you will not miss a thing. Nothing will be left out, for this is the nature and the definition of acting on your passion. It contains everything that's relevant for you, specifically for you in your life. That's why it's your passion, designed to harmonize with your frequency, and it automatically contains everything you need, and it will unfold, if you allow it to, in perfect timing. Nothing will be left out that is important for you to experience in your life. If it's not there, you don't need it. Let it go. Next.
My life is my own. No one can live it for me.
We understand on your planet many times you will be quite bombarded by people telling you what you should and should not do, who you should and should not be. And it doesn't mean that you cannot take advice, and it doesn't mean that you cannot follow guidance, for sometimes guidance is wisely given. But when it comes right down to it, you are the only one that can decide what is really true for you. If you explore yourself with honesty and clarity, you will know the difference between what really is your excitement and what really is your fear-based anxiety. You will know what direction is really true for you. And by choosing the thing that is really you, that is actually the best way to honor everyone else, including your parents, even if they don't necessarily believe that your choices are of great benefit to you. If you have explored and done your due diligence within yourself to know as best as you can at any given moment who you truly know yourself to be, which doesn't mean you won't change, which doesn't mean you won't know more later, which doesn't mean you won't get better. Of course you will. But at every given moment, you are a perfect representation of who you are at this moment. And in the next moment, even though you may change and learn more and do things differently, you will then simply be a different perfect, not more perfect, a different perfect. So no one can really live your life. No one can really know what's best for you. Again, advice can be taken, can be listened to. You can assess it as to whether it's true for you or not, but ultimately you have to decide who you are, who you prefer to be, and what the path of least resistance is for you. No one can tell you that. You have to tell it to yourself. And next.
I am unconditionally supported by creation.
Unconditionally. If you need to, look the word up. It means with no condition. Unconditionally loved. Unconditionally supported. So unconditionally loved, so unconditionally supported that you are even allowed to believe you are not loved and not supported. That's how supported and loved you are. You're allowed to believe anything, even the things that are not really so. That is proof that you are unconditionally supported, because if you weren't, there would be conditions and you wouldn't be able to believe those things. You would be forced to believe something, but you are free to choose anything that you wish to believe. That's how supported you are. And next.
I am an expression of nature.
You do not live in nature. You do not live with nature. You are nature. You are an extension of that which is natural. There really isn't anything that is supernatural or paranormal or metaphysical. It's all natural. It's all normal. It all has representation in your physical reality in some way, shape, or form. We understand there are higher energies that are non-physical that you can tap into, but that doesn't make them supernatural. It simply makes them another form of nature. You are an expression of nature in all the things you do. Do not segregate or separate yourself out from the idea of being part of the natural world, the natural universe. You are an expression of nature. And knowing that and acting like you know it is what will also help you make all the connections to other expressions of nature that are important for you to experience your reality in a holistic way, rather than a jumbled collection of parts that seem disconnected one from the other. The more you connect to the true nature of your being, the easier it will be for you to connect to all other expressions of nature as well, and see yourselves as an expression of a holistic system. And next.
I always have exactly what I need.
Everything that comes to you even if it's something in the moment that you neutrally and objectively recognize you don't prefer, must be there for a reason. If you stay in a positive state with it and know that at that moment, no matter how it looks, it's what you need to move on to the next best place, then you will relate to it in a positive way and be capable of extracting a positive effect from it, no matter how it looks, no matter how it originated, no matter what anyone else's opinion about it is, no matter what anyone else's experience about it may be. If you remain in a positive state, you will extract a positive effect from it. Whatever happens is the most important thing going on right now in this moment in your life. Whatever it is, no matter how it looks. Stay in a positive state, you'll be able to use it in a positive way. You have everything you need. The manifestation will happen in perfect timing, but everything you need is right here, right now. Nothing is missing. Nothing is missing. Some of it may seem invisible to you, but that's just because it's not the time for that to manifest solidly. It's not the time for that necessarily to come into your awareness, because there may be a process you need to go through so that when it does manifest, you will have a deeper appreciation of exactly how to use it. But everything you need is right here, right now, already. You are missing nothing. And next.
I give and receive joy, love, and compassion.
Simply put, why not? Because that's what you are. You are joy. You are love. You are given unconditional support, love, and compassion. Why not reflect it? Because that is what will allow you to feel the connection to creation, to all that is, because that's the frequency of existence itself. So why not harmonize with that and know that you are giving it as well as receiving it, and that being of service by giving it is the best way for you to open up as fully as you can to receive it and experience it for yourself, because it's always being given to you. You never have to ask, really. Not really. Because the idea is asking is not really asking for something you don't have. You can ask, but understand that asking is simply asking to be more aware of what you're already being given. Big difference. Big difference. Because you have everything you need. You just have to pay attention to that fact, and you will experience that it is so. And next.
My life is a synchronous orchestration.
Absolutely. Every moment is orchestrated through synchronicity. Nothing happens by accident. Who you may wind up next to in the so-called traffic jam on your freeway is not an accident. It may not necessarily always have a lot to do with you consciously, but you are there for a reason, perhaps to serve what someone else might be going through. It's all an orchestration. You are that powerful. You may not know it, but you are that harmonized. You are that powerful. So powerful you are unconscious of it. You create it to be automatic in the background, so you don't have to overthink it. Just start knowing that no matter where you are, no matter where you wind up, no matter with whom, no matter what's going on, it's happening for a reason, and that reason is because you are part of an orchestration that may have a lot to do with you, a little to do with you, but always has something to do with your participation being needed in that orchestration in order for it to happen in the way it needs to happen for all the participants at that particular moment. If you could only see, really allow yourselves to feel the beautiful orchestration, the powerful orchestration that you all are, you would walk through your day absolutely gobsmacked with your jaws slack and hanging open. Wow. Look at the synchronism in that. And the more you focus on the idea that everything is synchronism, the more synchronism you will experience, the more you will actually be able to experience the orchestration. And pretty soon it will be like walking through a magical dream. Everything falling into place. You will see reality for what it is, a projection of your consciousness, a play on a stage, a beautiful, fantastic, complex play. It's amazing. Let it be so. And then
I am free to choose.
you are always free to choose. There is a phrase that is often heard, often said on your planet, mostly a kind of religious phrase. It's God's will. If God is all that is, why does it need to will anything? It's already experiencing everything it can be. It allows everything to be what it is because that's what it needs to be in order for all that is to be all that is. If it actually exercised will, then it would not be all that it is, because it would be forcing itself to be something, and it wouldn't be allowing itself to be what it is. It would be actually short-circuiting itself, short-changing itself by focusing too much on the need for something to be other than allowing it to be what it is. You are free, absolutely free to choose. That is your greatest gift, the greatest power you have from the unconditionally supportive and loving existence of all that is. You are free to choose. So choose. Exercise that power. Exercise that gift. You are free, absolutely free. Enjoy this meditation. Do it when it feels correct for you, but the more you do it, the greater sense of inner peace and self-empowerment you will have. Enjoy.
We have this concept called karma. And
Yes.
So what is karma exactly?
Good question. Shall I answer?
Please.
Thank you. Number one, karma is completely self-imposed. Number two, karma and the concept of reincarnation is again an illusion. It is simultaneous incarnations in parallel realities. Thus, any concept of anything that connects one life to another, such as the concept you call karma, or, if you wish, energy balancing, is simply the product of the idea of, from the present life, you decided to create energetic cross-connections, cross-links to other simultaneously existing parallel realities, because for some reason, based on the theme that you chose to explore in this life, you believe that cross-connecting energetically to those other simultaneous lives and downloading information from them, what you call memories, would serve you in the exploration of the particular theme of this life, just as those other lives are also cross-connecting to you and other lives to download information that they need to explore the themes they chose to explore by being those people in those lives that exist simultaneously with you. So karma is your decision to create a blueprint, in a sense, of connection to other life experiences going on at the same time that you believe are designed to serve the theme of the challenges you wish to explore in this life to allow you to grow as a soul and a spirit. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that answer the question sufficiently?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bashar. Bashar,
And good day to you.
I'm so excited to talk to you. I want to start by thanking you for all you have done and are doing.
All right, well, we thank you also for the co-creation of these interactions. Speak up.
I want to say how much of a great change my life has been because of learning information that you've passed on. I have two questions. One before I start, I understand if you're not able to answer it. And I want to, before I ask the question, I wanted to be clear that as a result of the experience, I've completely grown and changed.
All right, well, thank you for choosing to do that. Because no matter how much information we share with all of you, none of you have to take it to heart. It's up to you to decide what to incorporate within your being, and therefore any change going on is something that you have done. We are happy to provide an opportunity, but you have to make the choice to actually absorb that information, and the change happens because of you, not because of us.
You're amazing, and thank you again.
All right, if you say so.
My experience involves the energy project I was working on back in 2011.
Yes.
I thought that I would involve a friend of mine who's involved in Dr. Stephen Greer's group.
Yes.
So that I could have more people, and when it was completed, I would give it to them, and it would be a way to bring it out to the world.
Oh, all right. And?
Once I put myself on the map with being involved with that team on some incredibly hardcore, you could say, things started happening in the dream state, in the subconscious state.
Guys,
there were these two, I call them the two. They used to come in all the time and do incredibly gruesome, terrible things.
Such as?
I'd rather not go into detail.
Oh, all right.
They're just too terrible.
If you say so.
Worst motion picture movie stuff that you've ever seen,
Yet many people on your planet love going to horror movies.
It's terrible stuff. Maybe when I was a kid, but now I have a different respect.
Oh, all right.
Subconscious.
Very exciting.
Yeah. I learned that there was always a magnetic field associated with when they would come in.
Yes. Is there a question here?
The question is, do those two originate? Did they originate from some form of technology on this planet? Were they two people sitting behind some desk somewhere?
No.
Or was this coming from who? What is the
It
origination
comes from
of those
another
two?
dimensional realm that you yourself are in touch with. And in a sense, they are giving you an opportunity to face all the different negative belief systems that are going on within your personality structure so that you can transform them and integrate them in a positive way. Understand that no matter what anyone else's intention is toward you, you always, all of you, have the opportunity to decide that only a positive effect will result for you in your life regarding any experience, because your physical reality is only the product of how you define it. And if you define it in a positive way, you'll only get a positive experience from it, no matter whether someone else has a negative intention toward you or not. That's how it works. That's physics. So get in touch with the fears that they bring up within you so that you can allow yourself to define the definitions that are causing those fears, because all emotion comes from something you believe to be true first. You can't have a feeling without defining something to be true first. Therefore, if you have a feeling of fear, it means you have a definition that is causing the fear. Find out what it is, identify it, and let it go. And then you will find that these experiences can turn around for you in a very positive and constructive way and allow you to become more self-empowered if you use it that way, all right?
Good day, Bashar.
And you, good day.
So my extensive time travel hasn't been much, but I would say...
As we said, you are all time traveling all the time. That's what creates the effect called time. So you're all time travelers, whether you know it or not. That's the way you create your physical reality experience.
Gotcha. Maybe I phrased that wrong. The time traveling that I've noticed the most is when I've smoked dimethyltryptamine.
Yes.
Can you speak about how dimethyltryptamine...
Dimethyltryptamine is produced by the pineal gland naturally in your brain and is responsible for your ability to actually perceive other dimensions more clearly. This is why the idea of the dream dimension activates more DMT in your pineal gland when you are sleeping. And those active times of the production of that substance in your brain is generally between what you call your 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. hour. Thus, then, most of the interdimensional dreams will occur at that time because you are perceiving into other realities more clearly. Now, of course, you can learn to enhance this in a variety of ways, be it the utilization of the substance itself or the idea of meditation or a variety of other techniques, tools, and rituals, which we simply call permission slips. Because all tools, techniques, and rituals and objects are simply permission slips that allow you to give yourself permission to be more of who you are. once you use a teacher, once you use a guide or a substance to allow you to understand the frequency state, the state of being that is represented by that substance, then in a sense, you actually no longer need the substance because you can simply generate that frequency state, and in acting from that frequency state can have a life that is more representative of that particular resonant level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I noticed that, in fact, in my dream states, I only had a limited experiences with the DMT, but since then, my dream states have changed.
Yes.
One such was actually yesterday when I arrived here. I took a little nap, and in my dream, I had a crazy Serbian chiropractor stick something in my face and said, "This will check your age." And
yes.
it blew air in my face, and I woke up gasping. And
yes.
sort of the odd thing was, I looked at myself in the mirror, and
yes.
I appeared to be younger.
Yes. This is actually what you call a memory of something that has already occurred. It's just that you're now at a place where it's all right for you to remember it, and all right for you to create the effect that goes along with the recognition of that particular interaction. Because time, as we say, while it is a real experience, is still nonetheless mechanically an illusion. And therefore, how you see yourself will be how you define yourself. And if you have now been defined differently by recalling that particular experience, then you will see yourself and perceive yourself differently as well. And so will others.
Thank you.
Greetings, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
My name is Preston Nichols.
If you insist.
Yep. Author of the Montauk Project.
Speak up and be bold.
I got a question. What happened to Tabor? T-A-B-O-R. Can you tune in on that, sir?
That particular nomenclature is not identified in the vocabulary of the channel. Therefore, there is no translation on our side. You see, I'm not speaking your language. I'm simply sending thoughts and using the channel as a translation device. And therefore, if there's no definition in the channel's vocabulary, it doesn't translate on this side. If you can provide a definition, it may be something we can tap into.
Okay, the function is in the supercomputer that runs this reality. It's one of the executive programs. And on the 23rd of March, it disappeared. I can only find fragments of it. Does this give you any more information, sir?
One moment. We perceive that portions of it were shifted to a parallel reality, but portions remained.
Okay, that would fit what I'm seeing.
Does that help you?
Yeah, okay, you're saying I have to look in other parallel realities for the rest of this intelligence.
In that sense, if you shift your vibration to the concept of that intelligence, it may pull you into the parallel reality in which the majority of it exists.
Yeah, because this intelligence has been very important to my work.
Then perhaps it is, in a sense, luring you like a carrot or a magnet into another frequency.
Okay, I'll have to look into that. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Hello.
And to you, good day.
I just got my question answered, so I will switch. From where you're at, could you check? I have just worked out the mathematics of universes, and could you check and see how close I'm on them?
Mathematics of universes?
Yes.
Well, first of all, our civilization doesn't necessarily handle mathematics exactly the same way that yours does.
Don't worry, I don't either.
All right. We will give you our understanding of the idea of what you might call the geometry of universes.
You're right, it is geometries.
Yes. Our expression would be what we call the prime radiant. This idea can be explained by analogy by the following illustration. Understanding, of course, that this is simply an analogous illustration.
If you could give me a picture, I'll look at it.
The picture is this. Imagine a completely infinite, empty, black void. Have you got that?
Easy.
Now, imagine a single subatomic particle in the void, and that's all there is.
Okay.
Have you got that?
No problem.
All right. Now, because there is nothing else but this single subatomic particle, no laws apply to it. If it wants to, it can move at infinite speed. Therefore, you will understand that if it can move at infinite speed, it can be anywhere, and in fact can be everywhere within the entirety of the infinite void all at once. So if it traces a certain geometric crystalline-like pattern overlapping its own path again and again and again in certain ways, Where it overlaps the least will be what you consider to be empty space. Where it overlaps the most will be the densification of matter. But the idea is that this creates all parallel realities, all time frames, all dimensions of experience. This one single particle appears next to itself so quickly, you think it's 2 particles, you think it's 3 particles, you think it's 4, 5, 6, a billion, a trillion, a quadrillion particles, but it's all the same particle. Every single one of you, every single one of us, every single star, every single planet, every single chair, every single tree is made of literally not the same kind of particle, literally the same one particle.
Okay.
In the ultimate time-sharing event.
Okay. Because you don't have to share time.
Good day, Bashar.
And you good day.
Okay, so my question is, when we're born into this reality, why is it that we forget our past lives? And how is it that we can remember more of our past lives?
All right, well, first of all, you forget your past lives because you don't have any. None of you do. Everything exists at once. The past is an illusion. What you're calling past lives, you call that because you're coming from a linear space-time frame of reference. The idea is that you make those connections to other simultaneous incarnations that exist exactly at the same time you do. When you come from the present, you make those connections. You say, I need to make this connection, I need to make this connection, I need to download information and experience from that person in that life, and that person in that life, and that person in that life. From my perspective, they may seem to have lived 300 years ago. From this perspective, they may seem to be living 300 years in the future, but these are the connections I need to make from the present in order to download the information I need to help me with my theme in this life, just as they may be doing the same with me to download information that helps them with the themes they're exploring in their lives. It all happens in the present. There's no such thing as a past life in that context. Do you understand?
Yes.
But the bigger question is answered this way. You forget so that you can remember from a new perspective. Because if you only exist in a timeless state, there's no change, there's no growth, there's no difference. You have to forget who you are to remember who you are from a new point of view, to discover something new about yourself. Because you see, the structure of existence never changes. It's eternal, it's infinite. It's always the same structure. It's existence itself. What changes, what expands creation, is that your perspective and experience of the structure keeps changing. Now I'm looking at it from this point of view. Now I'm having this experience of the structure. Now I'm seeing it this way. Now I am this perspective. That's what expands creation infinitely. The structure never changes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you have to forget who you are to remember who you are from another point of view, to add to the sense of who you are and grow. Yes?
Yes.
So the only perspective, let's say, that you could come from, where you could say, yes, this is my life, and that is my life, and that is my life, is from the oversoul perspective, because all those lives are extensions, quite often, of the same oversoul. But as a person, on this level, you are you. You have never been anyone else, and no one else ever has become you. Because the very idea of being an individuated person, persona, an individual soul, is that you are an individual and you remain so, because you're unique. That's a unique experience. You can create the experience as if you have had other lives, reincarnation, and so on and so forth. But that's not mechanically what's happening. All the lives already exist. But your consciousness can shift in ways to give you an experience as if you're remembering another life you had. But that's just a perspective of linear space-time. Is this making sense?
It is. But then how does karma carry over from...
It doesn't. That's the point. The belief that it does is what allows you to experience that it does. When you understand that it's just a belief and it's just about about being in balance with who you prefer to be, then there is no karma. So in a sense, you have balanced your karma by getting to a point where you realize that there really isn't any karma, and it's just about being in the state you prefer to be in. Does that make sense?
It does.
Now, you may also be referring to the idea that when you set up a theme in life to explore, you do create a kind of destiny. You do create a kind of momentum, certain kinds of things that you must explore as part of that theme. And if you want to refer to that as karma, you can. But it's not really coming from the past lives. It's coming from the present in the sense that it's simply representative of the challenges you need to face to explore this theme fully. So you work with the idea of destiny or karma and free will both together in a certain way. In spirit, you could say, this is the theme I'm going to explore, and there you are. That's the hallway you will walk down. Now, how you walk down that hallway, that destiny, that karma, that challenge, that theme you're exploring is up to your free will. You can run, you can walk, you can fly, you can jump, you can be happy, you can be sad, you can go upside down, right side up, you can go backwards, you can be forwards, you can go side to side, look in every door, ignore them all. That's your free will about how you will walk down that karmic hallway, that hall of destiny. But walk down that hallway, you will. Although, in your modern day and age, because you are expanding your consciousness more and more and more and more, one of the options that's now available to you is to actually change your theme without dying. You can finish one theme, you can finish one hallway, one destiny, one karmic route, and actually create another while you're still alive. More flexibility, more malleability, more freedom is now a choice on your palette, a new color for you to choose. Yes? Is this making some sense? Is this helping?
Yes. And I've got one more question.
I beg your pardon?
I've got one more question.
I beg your pardon?
I've been to a psychic before, and I'm always in awe in what they know because I always start without telling them anything. How is it? What is the mechanism of where they get their information?
Who?
Psychics.
Understand there is no such thing as a prediction of the future.
Yes.
They're simply sensitive people who are picking up on the vibrations of the present that seem most probable to keep going in the same direction if the momentum doesn't change. They're simply reading the energy of the present and letting you know what it is, so that if you like it, if you like where it's going, you can simply stay on that path. But if you don't prefer it, you can change the path, thus rendering the psychic prediction obsolete.
Yes.
The idea of being psychic is simply being sensitive to more energies, higher frequency energies, and translating them through, in a sense, into language that others can understand. It's like being some form of, shall we say, electronic instrument that can pick up on certain vibrations that you can read in the needle being the language. Yes?
Yes.
So that's all. But as you follow your passion, as you do that to the best you are able, as you do it with no insistence on a particular outcome, you increase your sensitivity to higher frequency information.
Yes.
It's as simple as that. An example of that idea is the way our society functions in pure synchronism. Everyone is exactly where they need to be, when they need to be there, with whom they need to be. And the idea is that we don't really function on memory. We simply know what we need to know when we need to know it. It's as simple as that. No different than the idea of being psychic. It's just being in tune with what you need to know at that moment because you're in tune with more of yourself. Yes?
Yes.
Does that help?
Yes.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
So on the way here, driving to Sedona yesterday, I came down with a really heavy fever.
Oh, how exciting.
Yeah.
What are you burning off?
That's what I was wondering if you could help enlighten.
Well, are you letting go of outdated, old belief systems, negative belief systems? Are you in the middle of that process? Or is that something that you are desiring to do?
I believe I am.
All right.
Constantly.
Well, sometimes you will accelerate the process that way, and with the extra energy you're using, it can translate into what you would experience as a fever.
I see.
You follow? Yes. It means you're receiving higher frequency energy. You may not be allowing it to flow as readily as it could. There may still be some resistance in there. And when you have resistance, let's say, for example, in a wire, what happens?
Shorts.
It heats up.
Heats up, yeah.
So if there is resistance to the higher energy that you're making connections to, because you haven't necessarily cleaned your attic out yet of negative belief systems, fear-based belief systems that you're working on letting go of, it can translate into the idea of some of these kinds of symptoms. It's a typical thing when you channel higher energies for these kinds of symptoms to come up. They'll abate when you allow yourself to let go of the things that don't work for you, streamline yourself, and allow the higher energies to flow through you more freely by becoming more superconductive. Yes? I see. Does that help?
It does, thank you.
Anything else?
Yes, one other question in regard to language and reference points.
Yes.
It's my understanding when we dream, we could be on ships, we could have different experiences, we could be figuring things out, but our memories of these dreams are still sort of translated into our modern day or
symbols that your physical mind can understand to explain or express it. Yes.
Right. So what happens when we die? Are we able, or do we get lost, or what if there's
get lost?
Not
no,
lost.
You get found.
Get found. I guess reference point wise, if we don't have the reference point or the language, how do we make sense of it all?
Well, remember that language is a secondary translation of the idea of the expression of concepts within consciousness. So you simply immediately have an understanding. You might call it telepathy, you can call it what you want, but you have an immediate recognition and understanding of concepts that come to you whole. There is no need for the translation through language anymore because you're getting the concept directly in your vibrational state. Because that's the first way that information is delivered, is simply through resonance, through vibration of energy.
I see.
Does that make sense?
It does. Is there a way to have that direct experience?
Of course, you have it all the time. Have you never experienced the idea of what you people typically call an immediate gestalt or a download or an aha moment where you just get it?
Absolutely, yes.
That's what it's like. You just get it. It's just all there.
Are there any techniques we can do to just get the dreams?
Follow your highest passion to the best you are able with no insistence on the outcome, and everything that needs to happen for you will happen in the correct timing. That's the formula. That's the tool. Yes?
Yes, understood.
Does that help?
It does, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, it's a good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. Are you all excited? All right, workshop's over. You see how fast it can happen? Have a good time, good day. Now, allow us to begin by saying we have no idea what we're going to talk about. The reason I say this is to allow you to understand that when you live totally in the moment, you don't necessarily have to plan everything out. Don't necessarily have to lay it all out before you do it. You can, in the moment, upon the realization of what needs to be done, simply call upon your connections to the infinite to bring through whatever information is necessary at that moment. You don't necessarily need to think about it a moment before. Just know that you will know what you need to know when you need to know it. And it will be there for you. This connects into the idea of living fully your excitement, being present, being in the now, and knowing that you are connected to all that is in whatever way, shape, or form at any given moment you need to be to bring through for you at that moment what you need most. Living in that trust, living in that assurance, living in that knowledge is the state of being that best reflects living your life to the fullest, living your excitement to the fullest. Now again, when we talk about the idea of excitement, you can use any kind of label you wish to represent that. We understand that words have different meanings in your society, and excitement, in a sense, can be many things to many people. It can be unconditional love, it can be joy, it can be bliss, it can be passion, it can be a peaceful state of mind. You don't always have to be jumping up and down to be excited. When we talk about the idea that we refer to in your language as excitement, we are simply talking about that vibrational state that represents you being in harmonious alignment with your true natural self. And the process of discovering your true natural self and being that true natural self is what it's all about in terms of having a life that allows you to experience ecstatic explosions of synchronicity and effortlessness and creativity and love and joy. It is the willingness to be who you really are, to discover who you really are and be that you. That willingness is all it takes to get the ball rolling, to start the momentum going, to bring into your life, to attract to you those things that are most reflective of what you need next, of what you need to look at, what you need to deal with, what you need to process, in order to add that knowledge and add that experience to your being, so that you can expand and expand and expand and become, experientially become more of who you were already created to be. There's a process of self-discovery, a process of awakening, a process, in a sense, of remembering who you are. As we said, that's what physical reality experience is all about. It's making choices. It's the ability to choose. It's the experience that choice brings you of discovering through all the choices you make who and what you really are as this particular personality in this particular parallel reality life. Now, yes, of course, the greater you, what some people may call the oversoul, obviously has a number of lives going on simultaneously in what you call parallel realities or past or future. All of those things coexist concurrently, simultaneously. But this you is unique, as all of the different versions are, all the different life experiences are, whether physical or not. Each aspect of your greater self is unique. And so even though you have many lives, this life will never happen again and has never happened before. This is the only life this you has. And so to make the most of it, to allow yourself to really experience, to really savor what this life is all about, the idea is that you have the freedom, regardless of what you have been taught, regardless of what you may still believe, you have the freedom at every given moment to choose who you prefer to be, how you prefer to act, what experience of life you prefer to have, that you believe is most representative of the you are, in your heart of hearts, in your deepest soul. Now, as children, many of you automatically understand what it is to live an exciting life. But of course, different belief systems that have developed within your society over time will often talk you out of continuing to live that exciting life as you grow up, as you mature. But the idea is really to learn to balance that, to learn to blend that, to learn to become a grounded adult who still understands the freedom of play, the freedom of creativity, the freedom of excitement in the way you understood it as a child. So it is allowing yourself as an adult to rediscover how you can integrate that excitement, that childlike attitude, that childlike gratitude for every moment of the day, for a total appreciation of your life in a way that is natural, in a way that is second nature to you, actually first nature to you. So that you can know with assurance that as you move through life and as you make decisions and as you make choices, you are constantly supported in whatever choice you make it. You are never not supported by the universe. And this is the first element we wish to drive home with you with regard to the idea of living an exciting life, is the understanding and the realization you are never not supported by the universe. Totally. Many of you can create an experience as if you are unsupported in a variety of categories and ways, but all that is happening is you are being supported in what might be a negative belief. The universe does not judge. All that is does not judge whatever belief you choose to experience. And if you choose to create a definition and a belief within your consciousness that says you are not supported, the universe will support you in your experience of lacking support. You are always supported, but you are only supported to the degree and in the manner your strongest belief says you are capable of being supported in. But you are supported fully in that belief, in that experience. Every single belief, as we have said, contains, in a sense, a mechanism that reinforces that belief. It creates a self-fulfilling reinforcement mechanism. It has to, by definition. If beliefs did not contain self-reinforcing mechanisms, you would not be able to have discrete experiences in physical reality. You would not be able to have a particular experience of a particular belief without other beliefs leaking in. And this is, to some degree, one of the things you are learning to transform, is the idea that you can have an overriding belief. An overriding belief that colors all other beliefs, that beliefs are easy to change, instead of an overriding belief that beliefs are difficult to change. The overriding belief that beliefs are difficult to change is part of the paradigm of the belief itself that is there so it will be reinforced so you can have that experience that the belief creates. But now, in your age of transformation, you are learning you can replace that overriding belief, that program, that equation, with another one. That beliefs are easy to change. So that you can simultaneously, shall we say, experience to whatever degree you wish to any particular individual distinct and discrete belief, but at the same time always leave yourself a key to unlock from that belief, should you desire to do so when you are done with that scenario. This, in some sense, is the malleability, the flexibility that is required as children have it to shift very quickly from belief to belief to belief to belief, from experience to experience to experience to experience, creating a life that can go at any given moment in any direction whatsoever. So that you understand that every single moment is a zero moment and is absolutely not connected to the moment that was there before it, unless you believe it is. And that's the key. At every moment, you have the absolute and total ability to reinvent yourself, redefine yourself wholly, completely, and become a completely different person. That is another thing that it helps to begin to realize, fully realize, when it comes to living a life of high excitement, is that every single moment you actually are literally a different person. And the person that was there a moment ago is not the same person. And even though you may look in a mirror and see what you think is the same face that was there a moment ago, that is just an illusion of continuity that you are creating for convenience sake, so that you will not be deemed crazy or insane by your fellow members of society. But you could create such a distinct difference in the person from moment to moment that when you look in the mirror, you would actually see a different face every single time you look. Some of this ability has been demonstrated, as you say in your language, scientifically, medically, in cases of what you call multiple personality, where you can actually have one personality that actually has a particular physical condition, such as a cancerous tumor. But when they switch to another personality, the tumor is nowhere to be found. Instantaneously transforming because this personality never had cancer. It's not that reality anymore. That this can be done by individuals exhibiting multiple personality disorder shows you what kind of capabilities you actually have, and if you can, as you say, get a handle on transformation to that degree, and at the same time know that it doesn't have to be out of control, then you can also make the same kind of transformation instantaneously in any way, shape, or form you wish. And when you begin to understand that that's what you're already doing anyway, from moment to moment, then you can, with more consciousness and more intention, guide the transformational change from moment to moment in the direction of your preference, in the direction of your excitement. Remember, that's what it's all about. It's not about learning how to do these things. You already know how to absolutely and completely and utterly do all these things. Create any reality, every moment, transform instantaneously, let go of one belief and latch onto another instantaneously from moment to moment to moment. You're doing it all the time. The issue is not learning how to transform. The issue is awakening to the choices you are making of what you transform from and to. Because you can create a sense of continuity in the beliefs that you choose that make it seem as if, from moment to moment, nothing much has changed. When in fact, from moment to moment, everything has changed. You are a completely different person and a completely different reality, literally, take me literally, every single moment that you experience. Any change at all, it's a total change, a complete change. You exist as a different person in a different universe, utterly. Utterly. So you don't have to worry about learning how to do that. It's automatically built into your creatorhood. That's what you do. You can't help yourself but create, moment to moment, a new universe. You are made in the image of all that is, and all that is constantly creating new ideas, new perspectives, new universe, constantly shifting its consciousness simultaneously and concurrently from every different possible perspective, and that's exactly what you're doing too. But you have created an idea. You have created an idea, a notion, a system of definitions, a system of beliefs that define a particular experience you call physical reality on Earth. And you have set up certain guidelines, certain parameters that you've all agreed to abide by to make it seem as if you are not doing all the things we are talking about now. Again, as an example, you talk about the idea, or your scientists talk about the idea that you only use 10% of your brain. No, you use 100%. But you use 100% to make it seem as if you're only using 10. That's what you're doing. You're creating an experience of only using 10% of your brains with 100% of your brains. So waking up to that fact is what will allow you to realize you can change the percentage anytime you wish. Anytime you wish. Because all you're doing from moment to moment is saying, I choose 10%, I choose 10%, I choose 10%, I choose 10% again, I choose 10% again, I choose 10% again. Why? Because I said I have to. Why? Because I said I have to. Why? Because I said I have to. That's all you're doing. You're creating an illusion of continuity with your choices. You can break the continuity. Now, I understand. Again, because of belief systems, within that particular paradigm that the idea of breaking continuity can be scary because of the way you define the concept of breaking continuity. But what this is all about is learning to break continuity creatively. This is all artists do anyway. You're all artists. You're all geniuses. The idea of there being a fine line between genius and insanity is exactly this issue. The individuals on your planet that you call insane or have psychological disorders like the multiple personality disorder we recently mentioned, the only difference is that they are not aware of what they are doing in such a way that they can apply it creatively. They're not breaking their continuity intentionally and consciously. This is all about doing the same thing, but doing it intentionally and consciously and artistically and creatively. That's the only difference, and that's why you recognize instinctively, intuitively, that there's a very fine line between genius and madness. Because the idea of going from genius into madness is simply an idea of creating a belief system that allows you to forget that you are capable of breaking your continuity at will. And when you impose upon yourself the belief system that you are not breaking your continuity by choice, then you experience the thing called madness or disorder. But when you understand that you are breaking your continuity by will, by choice, then you have genius and artistry and creativity. That's the only difference. It's an issue of understanding how to break your continuity by choice and liking it, enjoying it, and not being afraid of it. It's all about making a friend of the unknown. Making friends with the unknown. Allowing the unknown to be a place of excitement and surprise and discovery rather than a place of fear. Rather than something to run from. Rather than something to hide from. It's a place to go toward. The unknown is where you will discover all the rest of yourself. That's where the rest of you is. In the unknown. So you want to develop a willingness. A willingness. Not just to crawl there, not just to walk there, but to run there. Run to the unknown. Embrace the unknown. It only contains more of you. That's all the unknown ever contains. More of you. More ability to discover more of you. If it's scary, that's an opportunity to get in touch with the belief systems that make it seem scary. Because it's only your definition of the unknown that creates the experience of fear. There is nothing about the unknown itself. There is nothing about the unknown itself that generates fear. Only your definition of it generates the experience of fear. That's all. It's the only thing that works that way. So, embracing the unknown, making choices at will to break your continuity creatively will begin to allow you to truly experience what you have for a long time called magic, where one moment does not necessarily have to appear connected to the next, where your space-time reality begins to get very slippery, and you can all of a sudden begin, if you have not already begun, to experience such things as winding up somewhere and having no idea exactly how you could possibly have gotten there, getting somewhere in an amount of time that heretofore would have been impossible to get there in, and all sorts of experiences like that where you suddenly realize that you can do without some of the intervening continuity moments. The ideas of teleportation, the ideas themselves of shifting in time, the idea of expanding your awareness to many different lives and parallel dimensions of reality, all come from the willingness to break your continuity creatively. Now, up to this time in your history, it hasn't necessarily served you to do that, except perhaps now and then in a very random way when it served some particular purpose in some particular person's life. But now, in this day and age, the idea itself that you are in a day and age of transformation allows you to consider many more options, many more possibilities of what you can experience physical reality to be. Physical reality is very flexible, very malleable. Remember, it's just an illusion. It's just a mirror. It only reflects back what you give off. So just as your reflection in the mirror really has no substance, physical reality itself really has no substance and is, in that sense, a true will-o'-the-wisp. It will take its form only from what you believe it to be. Only from the solidity you impart to it with your definitions and your meanings and your beliefs. It is no more substantial than that. No more substantial than your idea of it. What is real is your experience. That's reality. Experience is reality. Reality is experience, not the things that are the props of the experience. The experience itself is who you actually are, is what you actually are. You are consciousness experiencing itself from all the perspectives it can. That's what creation is. Consciousness experiencing itself from all the perspectives it can. That's it. That's what reality is. And when you begin to get a handle on that, when you begin to be willing to break your continuity with that intention in mind, you open up a myriad of possibilities that heretofore were not experienceable in physical reality, because you are redefining physical reality itself. We have long said, and we will repeat this if necessary, we have long said the process of shifting, the process of ascending from one dimension or one reality to another is the process of realizing that you actually are the reality you previously thought you existed in. I'll say it again. The whole concept of ascending, the whole concept of moving from one reality level, one dimension, one density to another, is the result of realizing that you actually are the reality itself that you previously thought you existed in. So what we are saying is, you don't exist in physical reality, you are physical reality. It is you. It's just an extension of your consciousness. It's just an experience in your consciousness. When you recognize fully that there is no physical reality except for your experience of it, and that that's what reality is, that is what allows you to experience an expansion of your idea of reality as you experience an expansion of your idea of yourself, and that's what allows you to have the experience you call ascension, or advancement, or growth, or expansion. Does that make sense to you? Is there someone to whom it does not make sense? All right. Would you like me to explain more clearly in some specific way what I have just said? All right. All right. Right now, most of you imagine or have been taught to believe that physical reality is a place in which you exist. You understand? You are being taught that physical reality is a dimension, and that somehow you, as an individual, exist inside that dimension. But you don't. The dimension exists inside you. It's just an idea. There is actually nothing out there. There is no out there. That's an illusion. It's a projection. It's all going on inside your consciousness. Does that make sense? So when you understand that you are not in physical reality, that physical reality is in you, that awareness in and of itself, that moment of being aware of that in and of itself, is the experience of expansion and ascension to a different level. Does that make sense? Does that help clarify it sufficiently? Or is there something else you wish to explore about this concept before we go on?
Well, I guess it does, but just like I just said, the belief needs to be changed, basically.
All right.
Yeah.
But you understand the concept.
I do understand.
That's a beginning. That's a beginning. And we understand that you're not going to let go of it completely because you still do want to have an experience of physical reality. We are not necessarily saying that you absolutely have to suddenly find yourself floating in the middle of a black void with nothing around you in order to understand you are changing your reality moment to moment. What we are simply saying, however, is that you can understand that since you're changing your reality moment to moment anyway, it can really be anything you want it to be because it's only coming from within you anyway. Does that make sense? Yes. All right. So we're not saying you will necessarily completely give up the idea of the experience of being in physical reality. We are simply saying that when you realize that physical reality is within you, then your experience of being in physical reality can be almost anything you want it to be. Make sense? Yes. Now, the other thing that you will all tend to do is, of course, you will do this changing, you will do this transforming, you will change your physical reality experience at a rate that you believe and in a way that you believe is not only comfortable for you, but in a way that makes sense for all the people you are connected to in your life, because you want to retain some degree of the experience of continuity in order to have the experience and share the experience. You follow me? So, you will move at a rate, you will do it in a way that best suits you, best serves you, and best serves all those around you with whom you have made agreements to move forward with at a certain pace. So some of you, let's say, within any particular group arrangement, may move a little bit faster than others, may change your reality a little bit more quickly, a little bit more effortlessly. Some may change a little less quickly, a little less effortlessly. But within that whole family group, within that whole arrangement, you will generally move together at a certain rate, at a certain pace that benefits you all, because that's the agreement you have made, is to help each other learn to do that by reflecting to each other what is going on within the group with regard to changing your reality, so that each member can decide for themselves how and how fast to change their reality or to be aware of the changes they can make. So some of you will do that as well, and that will form a kind of a regulating speed for how you do it. That does not mean, however, that you are limited by that. At any moment, you can change your idea of what you want to do with regard to those agreements, and you can go a little bit farther ahead and come back. You can do anything you want. Anything you want. Choice is always available to you. We have talked about before, and we know many of you are familiar with, a series of books that exists on your planet called Conversations with God. Yes? Yes. In what you call the latest book, there is an understanding and an explanation that fully illustrates what we are talking about in terms of having choice at every moment. It is explained very clearly in that book that even after you physically die, you still have a choice to not go on into spirit, but to pick up your physical life where you left off and continue. You do not have to physically die until you want to. This immediately, of course, in many of you brings up the question, well, if you can always come back, then why didn't so-and-so come back? Because they were done. Because they made a choice to go on. But you are always given the choice to actually continue the life that you just died in. You may or may not choose to remember that that's what happened. Those that might choose to remember or experience some idea that something different is going on may remember it as some kind of a continuity glitch or a dream about dying and then suddenly waking up and going, well, that was just a dream. When in fact it may have actually happened in physical reality. And you died and were given a chance to simply go back and pick up where you left off and only remember having died as a dream. So that you retain some idea of the experience, but not in a way that interrupts the flow of the physical reality you wish to continue. You do not even have to physically die if you don't want to, even though you may die, and even though many of you have actually physically died many times. You may not know that you have. You have choice at every moment, even after death, to not die, to continue that life if you want to, or to go on to something else. You are that free. And many of you have exercised that option a few times. Sometimes when you are in what appears to be an approaching accident, and you think, there is no possible way we could get out of this, but then suddenly you find that somehow you got out of it, you may realize that you didn't get out of it. You died and then simply reconstructed your life on the other side of the accident. You are that free. That's what we mean by freedom of choice. It doesn't matter. Even if you die, you still have freedom to choose what you would like to do from that point forward. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about the idea that you have to hurry up and get everything done by a certain time, that you need to finish this before you die. If you don't, you can come back and still finish it. In the same life, as the same person, so you think. In effect, it will seem to be the same life. Of course, it's not. It's a parallel reality by definition. But you won't know the difference because you're creating a continuity in order to have an experience as if you did not die. That's how free you are with your choices. That's how powerful you are. Knowing all of this and applying it to your life on a daily basis is what will allow you to really begin to feel in your soul, in your heart, in your bones, in every cell of your being, in every fiber of your body, really begin to feel what it means to be free to choose. You are unlimited beings, except for the experience of limitation you impose upon yourself, but you impose the experience of limitation on yourselves from your unlimited self. You can experience anything, everything. It simply depends upon your agreements, your beliefs, your definitions. That's all. But this is the time on your planet, now that you have decided it is time to wake up, that it is time to become aware of these abilities, time to become awake to more of yourself. And that's why we have the ability to discuss this with you. That's why you have the ability to implement these ideas and experience this magic in your lives, to see that life is this fluid, this flexible, this magical, this unlimited. Guaranteed 100%, not because I say so, because that's the way the universe is. That's the way it's structured. This is the great gift that creation has given to all the creations within it. You are that free. You are that powerful. You are made in the image of the creation. That's what it means. You are a spark of creation and have all the same abilities within whatever you deem to be your reality. You are that free, and now you're coming to that realization. One of the ways that we would like to assist you in coming to this realization, in giving yourself more awareness that you have these abilities, is a technique that we would like to refer to as rewiring the brain. You see, every thought you have actually rewires your neurological pathways in your brain. But when you create a belief system that perpetuates or repeats a certain experience, when you continue to choose a similar experience over and over and over again, what you also create in your neurological pathways is a kind of a feedback loop. And this feedback loop, like a belief system, becomes self-reinforcing. So that you only experience that automatically over and over and over again until you break the cycle. This idea now of breaking that cycle, breaking your continuity creatively, will be expressed in an exercise, more specifically in an equation that will allow you to stop short-circuiting yourself in a feedback loop and will allow you to complete the circuit and ground yourself into an ability to manifest what you prefer instead of getting caught up in this feedback cycle of continuing to choose what you don't prefer. We will discuss and describe this equation to rewire your brain and complete the circuit in a moment. But first, we would like to share with you questions and answers to make sure that what we have discussed up to this point is clear. So if any of you have any questions or require clarifications about what we have discussed so far or anything in general with regard to following your excitement before we move on, ask them now.